Okay, we should be live now. What's going on, guys? It's always very awkward when first go live because you're never really sure whether it's actually working or if it's not. So I'm assuming it's working. Everything looks good on my end. Hopefully the audio is coming through good for you guys. Appreciate you all waiting here patiently for me to arrive. Always appreciate that. Hello to everybody joining. Yeah, so here we are. We have the next state of play. And I, as usual, wanted to go live a little bit earlier to hang out with you guys a bit, have some discussion, talk about our expectations, just hang out a little bit and chat. Always like doing that before any live reaction. Yeah, sorry, the stream. Usually I'm very punctual with my streams, but I think I was a minute or two late with this one. So, apologies for that. I know that's not the norm, but always doing some stuff last minute. But yeah, we already have 400 people here, which is awesome. Again, really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and taking time out of your day to check out my content and support the channel. So, if you could do me a favor, whether you're watching this live right now or if you're somebody who ends up watching this after the fact later on, do me a favor and hit the like button to help this podcast out. I'd really appreciate that as well. It always helps. And so, yeah, I think one of the things I'm going to have to discuss with everybody is the expectation, because I'm sure that most of you are aware that Sony went out of their way to set the expectation for what this state of play is going to show off and what we're going to see during this state of play. But there may be some people who watch this and are not aware. In fact, there may be some people who are watching this who think that, oh, this is Sony's big event that everybody's been talking about or expecting. And that's definitely not what this is. But, given the state of play is happening in the first week, essentially, of July, again, some people are probably thinking this is going to be a massive one. So we'll talk about that in just a minute, what to expect. Sir Speaks a Lot, you're saying Deathloop and indies are the main topic. I see anything else, I swear to all that is holy, I will grab the shoddy and take out some of you at random. Well, let's remain calm, Sir Speaks a Lot. I appreciate the service you bring to the channel, but we have to stay calm, cool, and collected, and only break out the shoddy when it's absolutely necessary. But yeah, something I've been seeing, or something I've been asked a couple of times is, will there be any sort of big surprise or a little surprise of some sort, something during this state of play? And I just want to say right out of the gate that I don't expect that. I think Sony definitely tried to avoid anybody walking into the state of play expecting that by explicitly stating that we're not going to see God of War, we're not going to see Horizon Forbidden West, we're not going to hear anything about PlayStation VR. Some people are like, well, they didn't mention anything about Forspoken or Final Fantasy 16. And yeah, I mean, they are mentioning third-party titles. I guess technically they count as third-party titles that are going to be exclusive. So it's a possibility, but I think we want to keep our expectations not necessarily low. It really just depends on how much you care about Deathloop and how much you care about these third-party titles that we may see and how much you care about indie titles. So, for me, if we end up seeing Kenna Bridge of Spirits, that's a game I'm very much looking forward to. That's pretty good, Let me see. We have Mindseeker. You're saying, I hope they give an update on Kenna Bridge of Spirits and Stray So yeah, that's just what I was saying. I hope we see that as well. Stray, I'll definitely have to see a little bit more of. I know there's a lot of people who are excited for that. That's the one with the cat, if I'm not mistaken, right? So yeah, we'll have to see if that shows up or not. I want to see more Sifu. That game looks amazing. I want to see more Sifu. I really hope that shows up. I won't be disappointed if it doesn't, but I think that's a fair expectation for me to maybe have because, again, we're talking about indies. George, you're saying, I feel Sony will announce the date of their showcase in State of Play. That would be an interesting thing. You know, if Sony is actually going to have an event and they do it later this month or maybe in August, it would be a very interesting tactic to announce it during the State of Play. What would be interesting about it is it would make it so that nobody could really be upset with the State of Play. That's something I saw a couple people mentioning as well, is that, you know, a lot of people are going to be upset after the State of Play because there's a lot of people who are not going to read the PlayStation blog post and they're not going to know what exactly to expect other than that Deathloop will be showing up. And if they were to announce their event date during the State of Play, if they are going to have an event, yeah, I got to say that would be a pretty effective tactic to make sure nobody's upset with your State of Play by the time it ends, right? But I'm not necessarily expecting that. It would be a welcome surprise, though, for sure. Mepsic, you're saying, hey, buddy, hope all is well. If any AAA game is shown off, which do you think has the best chance? I mean, naturally, I want to say, I'm not sure, actually, now that I think about it, because we saw a pretty decent amount of third-party AAA games at Xbox's event and at E3. So thinking about ones that would be specifically lined up with Sony, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, it's too early for Call of Duty or anything like that, and I don't think Call of Duty would be revealed at a State of Play. Maybe we could see more Babylon's Fall. Maybe we could see. I mean, it's a possibility we could see some more Final Fantasy 16 or Forspoken. I just don't know how likely that is. You're saying be the hype man, MBG, like you used to be. Yeah. Look. Here's what I want to tell you, because I'm sure many of you watched the. I did miss a. I did miss. Hold on, guys. I missed a couple of super chats. I apologize. Let me get to these first. iSiler18, you're saying with the uncalled for Ghost of Tsushima bashing, can you imagine if the Death Stranding director's cut is priced the same? Yeah, I suspect it will be priced the same. I think there's going to be an expansion with it that's going to be revealed, and it will be priced the same. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think people are going to be too happy about that either. At least what I believe to be the vocal minority. It might not be the vocal minority, but it seems like Ghost of Tsushima director's cut is off to a really good sales start based off of pre-order numbers. So it's hard to say, but I suspect people will be upset. And then we have Anthony. You're saying Sony under promises to avoid drama. I respect it. Yeah, I mean, sure. I'm sure Sony is aware of people's expectations right now. I don't necessarily think the State of Play is a mistake. I really don't. I think what makes it difficult is if Sony is saving an event or something bigger, such as a God of War gameplay reveal or something like that, they don't want to announce it before this State of Play that's focused on Deathloop. You know what I mean? Because it's going to completely take away from it. But at the same time, we're at a time right now where a lot of fans are like, we're hoping to hear and see more about some of the bigger titles, about some of the bigger things that we know are in the works, right? And, it's just, it's a situation where you have to imagine Sony is aware of the expectations right now, and they are aware of the conversations that are happening in different areas of the internet. Not that necessarily means much to them, but what I will say is if Sony is confident because they're confident for one of two reasons. I've talked about this before. Sony is either confident and comes off as arrogant currently to some people, or like complacent. That's how some people are perceiving Sony right now. They're confident for one of two reasons, because they are truly getting complacent and they just don't feel that they need to do a big event or that there's no rush for anything. And, to an extent, you could kind of maybe understand why they would have that mentality, but that's one reason. The other reason is because they actually do know what's coming, and they do know what they have planned and what is around the corner potentially, or coming up in the next month or two, or maybe three. And because of that, they're not worried about some of the, fans that are seemingly a little bit frustrated right now, because they know that they're going to alleviate that frustration very soon. So it's one of two reasons. And I tend to be more of an optimist, obviously, when it comes to PlayStation. And I do believe it's because, we know for a fact they have some significant things that they're working on. I mean, God of War alone and Horizon Forbidden West is enough for me. But then you do take a second to think they do have PSVR 2 that's in the works. They have the Last of Us multiplayer game. They have a bunch of new IPs that are currently in development. So it's like, we know that there's stuff there that has to be talked about and revealed at some point. We just might have to be a little bit more patient and wait a little bit longer. And I know that for some fans, that can be a difficult process, but in the meantime, I'm glad that they're giving us something like a state of play. It may not be necessarily the big event that we were all hoping for, but at the same time, hey, it's a state of play. And I wouldn't be sitting here having a conversation with you guys right now if they didn't do that. So, by the way, guys, we have over 1,100 people here now, which is awesome. If you could do me a favor, take a second and press the like button to help this stream out. I would really appreciate that. Sir Speaks a Lot again. You're saying petition to bring Mrs. MBG to the video. We swear our allegiance to her. We may not be great guards, but we do make some great food. I skill in Mexican. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day Mrs. MBG can make a cameo appearance here on the channel, or we could do some stuff in the future. Never say never, right? Who knows what the future holds? Josh, you're saying don't expect Spider-Man 2 until at least late 2023. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, anybody who may be going into this state of play thinking you're going to be seeing Spider-Man 2, no. No, we're not going to see Spider-Man 2 revealed at this state of play. Mindseeker, you're saying, feel like us PlayStation fans become overly hyped due to rumors / leaks spreading throughout the media, but we should still have our expectations settled. I do agree. I'm sure many of you, or at least a good chunk of you here right now, watched my video yesterday. And I know that not everybody agreed with me, but hopefully most of you, if not all of you, understood what I was trying to get across. And somebody said earlier in the stream, like, bring hype MBG back. And it's not that I'm not excited. It's just I have a tendency to get overly excited. I get too excited over things that are not yet confirmed, that are not yet fact. And I think that even when I say something like, hey guys, you don't have to be as excited as me, or take it with a pinch of salt. Even when I say these things, I understand that the way I'm feeling and the way I'm conveying myself can become contagious, where it's like, it doesn't really matter that I'm saying those things, because the way I'm acting and the way I'm being perceived goes completely against that, where I'm getting very excited and I sound overly optimistic. You know what I mean? And it's not that I want to go out of my way to not be that way, because that's just naturally who I am. But I do want to try to practice being more thoughtful and objective, and not immediately getting overly excited until, and this is the important part, until we actually have a concrete reason to do so. I feel like that's the problem. I understand there are leaks and there are rumors, and I do agree I've made the mistake of focusing too much on them. And the problem is not necessarily the leaks or the rumors themselves. The real problem is where they're coming from. We're not getting leaks and rumors from reliable, credible sources. They're always shaky at best, and 9.5 out of 10 times they don't work out. and they turn out to not be true. And it's like we're not hearing somebody like Jason Schreier, right? I mean, he's pretty credible within the industry. It's not like he's coming out here and saying, oh, I heard there's going to be a PlayStation event around this time. He hasn't said anything. In fact, no credible insider has said anything, right? And those who are credible or maybe do get a few things right here and there, it's clear that even their sources where they're getting their information from are shaky at best because things seem to change at the last moment for Sony. You know, I've seen some people say that Sony's actually going out of their way to spite these leaks, that maybe the event was supposed to happen today or very soon, but they're like, you know what, let's push it back because things are leaking out and we don't want to give credibility to these leakers or these insiders. In fact, we want to destroy them. And that I have to admit, that would be an effective way to destroy leakers and insiders, right? They do have the correct information. Sony changes something at the last second. Before you know it, all their credibility down the drain at one time. And even though they may have actually been correct, Sony's like, not on my watch. So again, it's not that I'm not excited. I'm actually excited to see more Deathloop and hopefully see some Kenna Bridge of Spirits or some other indies or third-party games that I'm looking forward to. But when it comes to like the real hype, like the, okay, now it's time. We're going to have to be patient, and I'm going to wait until Sony gives us the green light. Okay? That's all I'm saying. I know there was a leak, apparently, excuse me, or a rumor coming from another supposed insider recently about an event in August, and it's like, I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it because you know what? I don't care. I'm just going to wait for when Sony tells me when they're going to have an event, if they're going to have an event. When they want to show me God of War, they'll show me God of War. When they're ready to ring the bell, I'll be here, okay? In the meantime, we're going to try to just keep calm, cool, and collected, like I said. JD Bear, you're saying, did you see Blooper Team denies Silent Hill remake? Yeah, I saw that briefly. I didn't really know what to make of it. So, I mean, it's anybody's guess, right? Like, I feel like it's kind of obvious that's what they're working on, some type of Silent Hill project, but they might not be. It would be surprising that they're partnered with Konami and they're not making something related to Silent Hill. But, you know, they're denying it, so we'll have to wait and see. Mike, you're saying, I don't think Sony has to prove anything to anyone. Their track record speaks for itself. I'm just wondering if Stray will be on the state of play. I actually do agree with you, man. And I feel like that's the problem is like, again, I don't condemn myself for getting excited or hyped. I condemn myself for seemingly getting excited and hyped for the wrong things. You know, it's like at a time when we're getting Ratchet and Clank, I'm busy paying too much attention and giving too much spotlight to rumors and leaks that, again, are shaky at best, when it's like maybe I should try to be more excited about the things that Sony's actually doing and what they have done and what they're doing like now. You know what I mean? And not be so quick to just immediately move on to the next thing. I feel like that's where I want to improve on the channel here with that, because I think it's necessary, you know, because I think there's a lot of truth to what you say. Sony doesn't have to prove anything because they've been busy already proving things. They've been releasing games. They've been supporting their console. There are some things that they seemingly have to improve on in some areas, but all in all, you know, they've been doing a pretty good job, in my opinion. You know, I don't fully agree with those who you're saying it started on the... Okay. Here we go. Give me a second to configure this correctly and bring it up for you guys. Let me just read these super chats real quick. Hopefully the audio is balanced pretty well. Ray, you're saying finally on a live. Keep up the great work, sir. Well, thank you so much for that. Anthony, you're saying the PS blog says 30 minutes with 9 minutes focus on Deathloop, which means there are 21 minutes of updates and new games to be announced. Excited. Yeah, that's true. That's a good way of looking at it. Didn't realize there was going to be that much. We have Maddie L. You're saying Kojima's Microsoft game will be a multi-platform. No way Hideo goes Xbox exclusive after Sony helped him build his studio. We'll talk more about that maybe on the podcast. I think Kojima is a free agent. If he wants to sign a contract that says his next game will be Xbox exclusive, he's free to do that. There's nothing stopping him from doing that, unfortunately, for some people. who don't want to see that, but I'll play his game no matter where it goes. Xbox, multi-plat, PlayStation exclusive, cloud exclusive. I don't care. I'm going to play it. Josh, MBG plays Chivalry 2. You will not be disappointed. I've heard good things about that. I've heard good things about that game. And Che, you're saying Troy Baker told David Jaffe that when he met Jim Ryan, he came into the room and told everyone that whoever leaks anything will be fired. Yeah, I heard about that. That was a good story. That was a good story. Edward Jordan, thank you so much for becoming a member, buddy. Big shout out to all my members. Appreciate that. All right, guys. Let me bring this up here. I do have it at 1080p 60, so hold on 1 second, guys. Okay, so we still have about, based off of my countdown, I'm really behind. You know what, guys? Ignore what you're seeing on screen. Let me fix that. I have to refresh this. Because, yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm glad I caught that. We would have been really behind, I think. All right, we're updated now. We're updated now. But yeah, you know, let's take this time real quick to talk about our expectations for the state of play again, because I think there might be some people here watching who are not fully aware of what exactly is going to be shown. So Sony did set expectations with a blog post where they said this is mainly going to be focused on Deathloop. Now, you know, we're going to be getting 9 minutes of Deathloop gameplay, so that's going to be the big gameplay chunk. But again, that's pretty much like 1/3 of the show. So the other 2/3 of the show will be spent on, as Sony puts it, exciting third-party and indie games, PlayStation titles. So that's what you can expect. Do not expect anything major like a God of War reveal or, you know, anything like that. Anthony, you're saying with all events having fans now, PSX with real gamers in attendance, instant win for Sony with all those announcements, breaks the internet for a weekend. Yeah, I do think that if Sony does bring back PlayStation Experience, that will be a big moment for Sony, for sure, and the fans. I mean, it's hard to say if they'll, you know, go back to doing it in person, right? Like in-person events. I don't even think, is Sony even, I don't think they're even selling PlayStation 5s in store yet, are they? Or like, you know, making it so people can just walk in and buy consoles? I'm pretty sure they still aren't doing that yet. So, but they might, you know, they might go back to that. Personally, I think if Sony does do a PlayStation Experience event this year, I don't think it'll be in person. By the way, guys, I am drinking some of my rant juice. Although I don't think I'll have to rant today, but feel free to buy your own rant juice mug. It's offered in my Teespring store. So if you want one, feel free to go pick one up. Helps support the channel directly. Frank, you're saying expect the Metal Gear Solid remake and Blue Point acquisition. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're going to want to pump the brakes there, buddy. Pump the brakes. I feel like I have to refresh this again. because it's saying 4 minutes, but on my end, it looks like we only have 3 minutes. So I'm going to refresh one more time just to make sure we're as up. Okay. I guess that's just how it's going to be then. Not a big deal. So, how excited are you guys for Deathloop? My mugs are too small. Dude, I don't think I have any control over that. You know what? They might have some bigger, not mugs, but like thermoses, I guess, that they sell. I would have to look into that. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. With Deathloop, it seems to be a 50-50 thing. Deathloop seems to be a 50-50 thing with a lot of people. We can, So I think for me, Deathloop is a game that I'm gonna play. Like, I like the 70s theme that it's got going on, like a 70s spy thriller type theme going on there. So I do like that, but I have to tell you, it's not a game that I'm feeling incredibly pumped for. It's not a game I'm extremely excited about. Saying I'm behind on the stream. Well, I mean, I already refreshed it multiple times. It's not really changing for me. So, saying it's live. Well, why is it all right, give me a second. Here we go. I don't think it's live, guys. It's if it's live, it's not playing for me yet, so just gonna have to be patient. I'll check my phone real quick. Yeah, no, it's not live yet. I think you guys trolling me a little bit. Trolling me just a little bit. It's okay. I think we're about 3 or 4 seconds behind. That's about it. So yeah, one last time, guys, before this kicks off, it's about to start in 1 minute. Please hit that like button to help the stream out. I would really appreciate that. It helps the streams out more than you know. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to see more Deathloop. Maybe it'll sell me more on the game. Again, I'm gonna play it. It looks pretty fun, but it's not a game I'm feeling like, you know, overly excited for. It does look like it could be a really fun game though. I like the concept of it, and the combat looks like it's pretty unique in some ways. So, all right. Do I watch Young? Yeah. I do occasionally, yeah. On occasion, though. Not too frequently. Oh, I gotta lower the brightness on my screen a little bit.
There are those who look into the eyes of another and see opportunity. A soul to corrupt and twist. Their stories are the ones we fear. And there are those who see potential. The light within the soul. A chance to lift someone up to achieve the impossible. Their stories rise to legend. So tell me, what do you see in Quill? Because her story depends on you.
Book 2. Yeah, so that's a PSVR game. I heard good
Thanks
things
for
about the
kicking
first
off our
one.
new State of Play, Quill. Moss 2 is currently in development for PSVR. We've got some more exciting updates today, so let's keep it going. Here's a flashy new multiplayer shooter from the team at Ilphonic.
These are the guys who more recently did Predator Hunting Grounds, which I was not a fan of. Yeah, that is giving me some pretty big Fortnite vibes.
That was your first look at Arcade-A-Geddon, which begins early access today for PlayStation 5. Tribes of Midgard arrives later this month. Let's get a sneak peek at the post-launch plans for this addictive action RPG from Norsefell Games.
Hi, I'm Sydney from Norsefell, and I'm here to tell you more about how Tribes of Midgard will grow even bigger after launch with free season updates. Tribes of Midgard is a 10-player survival action RPG, where you play as an Einherjar, a legendary Viking warrior revived by Odin himself to stop Ragnarok. There are 2 primary game modes, the session-based Saga mode and the endless survival mode, that are all about exploring Midgard, powering up your character, and fortifying your home village to stand against giants bent on destroying the seat of Yggdrasil. New seasonal updates will change the way you play and add challenges for you and your tribe to overcome. The game launches with Season 1, The Wolf Saga. It includes new classes, exclusive loot, and a powerful new boss. There will be 8 different classes to unlock and choose from. Let's take a quick look at the Ranger, one of our 2 starting classes. As you gain levels, you unlock game-changing abilities in your class skill tree to match your playstyle, like the lightning fast quick shot or the powerful slowpoke. Because classes are complementary, it's fun to have a bit of everything in your tribe. We're excited to see how your strategies will change as classes expand in future updates. Season 1 also introduces runes, which give you new special powers to customize your character even more. The Wolf Saga will launch with 30 runes, including the Might of Mjolnir, which adds powerful chain lightning arcs to your attacks. You can use multiple runes together, and the effects can get pretty wild. You'll end up with different rune combinations each session, so you'll always have new ways to experiment. Last but not least, the biggest part of every season are Saga quests, a series of quests that will bring you across Midgard. In Season 1 Saga, you'll unlock the ability to access a mysterious lair and face down your most powerful challenge yet. And the more dangerous foes you take on, the greater the reward. Speaking of great rewards, the Wolf Saga is stacked with season-exclusive weapons, armor sets, and truly mighty companions. I love this guy. This saga is only the beginning. Tribes of Midgard will keep expanding with more seasons that explore different parts of Norse mythology and add even more to the game. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in Midgard soon on July 27th.
Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. Gotta say it. It's like one of the better titles.
Port City's as good as lost. Must you go back?
I must go back in order to end all this.
Oh, this is that game, I think it's called Fist. Actually, that looks pretty good too. September 7th.
Up next, what do you get when you mix fighting games and battle royale?
Ancient legends are told. Of the battle between demons and hunters.
Hi everyone, I'm John Georgie from MANTISCO, and on behalf of our studio, I am thrilled to welcome you to the world of Hunter's Arena. In this mystical world, you will play as hunters who must fight deadly demons as well as other online players in order to survive. As a skillful hunter, you will master powerful swordplay and martial arts, and will be constantly tested of your skills of precise timing and fast decision-making. However, don't forget to have a little fun on your journey by customizing your weapons from disco balls to rubber ducks. As you explore our expansive maps, you will be able to explore dungeons and slay ancient demons to level up. We look forward to seeing your personalized strategies on your hunt. Another huge threat to look out for is none other than one of your own, a hunter. Always have different strategies in mind and use the environment around you when facing your enemies. Utilize bushes for ambush or drop strike from higher grounds to unleash a lethal blow on unexpected enemy players. Hunter's Arena features two battle royale modes, solo and trio. In solo mode, you will solely take on other enemy players as well as deadly demons lurking behind your back in a 30-player free-for-all. In trio mode, you'll be able to team up with your friends, where focusing on teamwork and planning out strategies are crucial in achieving victory. There is so much more to experience in this fascinating world. I can't wait for you to encounter the countless dangers waiting in Hunter's Arena when it launches next month on PS4 and PS5.
I mean,
thank you for joining me today, and I will see you all soon on Hunter's Arena.
It looks like it has potential. Doesn't really
Jump
stand
into
out
Battle
to me.
Royale
but
action when Hunter's Arena Legends arrives on PS4 and PS5 next month. PlayStation Plus members will be able to download the PS4 and PS5 versions at no extra cost starting August 3rd.
All right then, I'll give it a shot. PlayStation Plus. Oh yes, here we go. Yes, I want to see more Sifu. Let's get a release date. I love the style of this game. It's like right up my alley. I love that you just get older. Can you get some nunchucks in this? You have to be able to get some nunchucks, right? Oh my god, dude. That looks so good. Oh. It's okay. It's okay. It's alright.
Ever wanted to explore an alien
I wasn't
planet?
expecting a
Then this next
delay,
game is
but
for you.
it's okay. Still day one for me. I'm just glad we saw it.
This is Jet, the Far Shore, created by Super Brothers and Pine Scented, with a score by Scientific. In Jet, you play as May, one of a unit of aviator scientists who embark on an interstellar trip and alight on a mythic ocean planet, where they dream of securing a future for their species. We aspired to create a video game to express our own feelings of awe when we look up at the starry sky. Jet is all about motion, whether it's weaving through trees or jumping over obstacles. I love that sense of speeding through a remarkable natural space under a grand sky, and suddenly being in someone's helmet, boots on the ground. Jet's premise involves exploration and discovery. However, our design doesn't rely on combat or resource extraction, and the characters go to some lengths to tread lightly, giving indigenous wildlife a wide berth, striving to adapt and avoid conflict. As a Jet scout, you'll inspect living things and employ your Jet's tools to figure out what makes them tick. Occasionally, you'll run into trouble, and you'll have to use everything at your disposal to emerge unscathed. Over the years, we've contemplated what might be on the minds of interstellar explorers, what might propel them, and what might haunt them. And so our story provides an occasional glimpse into May's dreams, memories, and visions. At heart, Jet is a laid-back and enjoyable exploratory action-adventure set within an intriguing new science fiction cosmos. Jet has had a long road. For a few years, there were only 3 of us. Since then, this vision has been sharpened and bolstered by an all-star squad. We hope you'll embark with us.
Looks like a pretty chill game. Not something that really
Let's check in with our friends at Sega for more
that
on
I'd
2
say I'd
upcoming
play,
adventures.
but seems pretty chill.
A mansion. Is this the place?
I'm scared.
It's okay. I'm with you. I'll keep you safe. The demon's scent is growing stronger.
The door! It just closed on its own! You saw it, right? I don't care who! Just come and fight me! Whoever shows up will be my next prey!
I'm a demon slayer! Rank Mizunoto! Tanjiro Kamada!
Here I come!
And he's wielding Nichirin swords! Is he with the Demon Slayer Corps? Zenitsu?
He's not just pretending. He's really out cold.
Thunder breathing. Burst form. Thunderclap and flash.
It's gonna feel so good to rip such a huge target to shreds!
How could this human wound me?
Let's go. I'm not giving up. Not ever. Keep moving forward. Stay sharp. Give it everything you've got. You can do it!
I'll get my hands on that rare blood and reclaim my rightful place among the 12 Kizuki.
Yes, I've got him now.
Yeah, the combat looked pretty cool.
Your Honor, in a warehouse, about 3 days ago, a body turned up in Yokohama. Oh, maybe you hadn't heard that.
What is this?
You mean it's revenge? In that case, could he possibly have hired someone else to kill the guy instead?
As for my request, I'd like to see what you can find out. Mikoshiba's murder is too suspicious.
Suspicious? Hey.
Lost judgment.
Get him, Yagami bot. Take a nap. This race is mine. Let's fly. Go.
Oh, you can skate?
You, buddy. Watch this.
Believe me, I'm just as clueless as you are, much as I hate to admit it.
They said to tell you, this is your final warning.
They've been spying on me?
I guess we couldn't ask for a better piece of bait.
What the hell do you think you're doing? This has nothing to do with her. Stop! Come on up!
Yeah, is this the same team that makes the Yakuza games?
Our next game was revealed just a few
is.
weeks ago. Time for a closer look at the expanded and enhanced Death Stranding Director's Cut, coming soon to PS5.
I wasn't expecting to see this here.
Once there was an explosion. A bang which gave rise to life as we know it. Then came the next explosion. An explosion that will be our last.
Sam, I'll be waiting for you on the beach.
Rebuilding America isn't gonna get rid of the BTs.
But at least we'll have hope.
I'm a porter. I don't care about connecting anything.
You see, I've come to understand the truth of the Death Stranding.
Upgraded melee. Mounted machine guns. Firing range. Cargo catapult. Nice. Buddy bot.
I'll be waiting for you on the beach.
For me, the biggest question is how many new story missions? September 24th.
Deathloop hits PS5 on September 14th.
All right.
Let's check out an extended
Wasn't
gameplay
expecting
demo
to
of
see that
Bethesda
here.
and Arcane's violent
Glad we
vision.
did, though.
Hello, Black Reed. The other visionaries and I officially request killing cults becomes your top priority. Or in other words, murder the bastard now.
Every single person here is out to kill me.
It's fun. I've been cutting short your meaningless rampages for some time. It's totally normal. Death is a typical physiological experience in this place.
I hate to break it to you, but there is nothing normal about this fucking island. Oh, shit! What?
You're gonna give me that attitude?
Did this game get a graphical upgrade? I feel like it looks better.
Which means I already know what's going to happen. Am I supposed to do this every day for the rest of my life? Fuck that! I'm breaking this loop.
I'm Dinga, game director at Arcane Lyon, and I'm here to give you a special look at Deathloop. You are Colt. You're stuck in a time loop on the island of Black Reef where everybody wants you dead. To escape, you'll have to take out 8 targets known as the Visionaries before the day repeats. Also, one of your targets, Juliana, is in the business of hunting you down. Fail to kill the target or die, and the day starts over.
You gotta be kidding me.
But every loop is an opportunity. With every cycle, you will learn more about the Visionaries and the secrets of the island by exploring and observing. You will discover their habits and secrets, using that knowledge to progress through the story. Let's jump into a mission several hours into the game to see Colt take on the Visionary Alexis the Wolf Dorsey. At this point, you have already learned from a previous loop that Alexis plans to give a speech at his well-guarded masquerade party. Let's use that intel to identify Alexis and take him down.
I was just thinking.
I want to know what the fuck is going on.
Oh, you don't want that. You're looking for purpose.
I'm looking for the fastest way out of this place.
There are rules, Colt, and sometimes people bend the rules, and sometimes they break them.
Blah, 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 blah.
Were you talking when I was talking?
I have top secret information.
Okay, what is it?
I said it was top secret. Okay.
Jeez. Yeah, I feel like this game got a slight graphical upgrade. It looks sharper than it did before.
Favor.
At least in my opinion.
So what happens when you break the loop? Seriously, I want your theories.
Everything goes back to normal, obviously.
Normal. You have absolutely no fucking idea what will happen.
True, but I know one way to find out.
You guys are saying frame
Dying
drops.
isn't the end. Reprise is one of the powers you can unlock. It allows you to die and rewind twice before the loop restarts. You have also seen Carnesis, that allows you to yank enemies around and shift the short-range teleport.
Hey, we killed you!
Colt, do you need my help?
Nah, I'm fine.
To keep getting yourself killed. Can you stay still for a second?
Cheap ass piece of shit!
I gotta admit, the gunplay looks
Here's
pretty
where
solid.
Colt died. You can absorb your body to regain Residium, a resource that allows you to save your favorite weapons and abilities between loops. Over time, you will build an arsenal of weapons, abilities and upgrades that you can mix and match between missions to suit your playstyle or the needs of a specific task.
What's gone wrong? Are you kidding me?
You're ready to...
We use the haptic feedback and the adaptive trigger of the PS5's DualSense controller to bring an extra layer of immersion to your experience. Every movement feels different, and weapons express their personality in the palm of your hands.
Very impressive. I'm clapping with one hand.
Don't stop there. Put them both together. The body count is gonna get high.
We need an invitation to Alexis's party. I found another way in. Through the window?
No,
on the cliff?
No, I'm not climbing on any cliff or window. Just shut up! Keep your eyes open.
There's always multiple ways to approach a target, and we just learned of one, a back entrance to the mansion. Conversations like this happen all over Black Reef, and it often pays to stop and listen.
Oh, wow.
Like, what?
That alert means your rival, Juliana, has invaded your game. Controlled by another player or the AI, she's the real deal. You'll have to be extra vigilant when she's on the hunt.
Wow. I didn't know you liked to party.
Ain't my style.
You're all business all the time, aren't you? What is your style, exactly?
Chit-chatting when I should be killing motherfuckers, apparently.
I love the banter between them.
I'll smoke anywhere, man. I'll smoke at the doctor's office. I'll smoke at a funeral. I'll smoke when people are eating their breakfast right next to me. Fuck your fried eggs. You know what I'm saying?
The wolves play a sick game.
What?
Whoever fails to impress the others with their evil deeds goes into the grinder and onto the dinner menu. Let's see if we can rig the outcome.
It's cool!
What's up, sluts? I cornered the manufacturing.
It could be Alexis, but it could also be another masked speaker. So let's hear him out and not take the shot.
There were deaths, lawsuits, whatever. Profits far outstretched our small legal fees. We made millions that year. Cheap bastards who died, they could have afforded it. If it was important enough.
Arrogant, cruel, no regard for others? Yeah, that's definitely Alexis. Allez up! Alexis just dropped an upgrade to the Carnes's power and a hefty dose of Residium. Time to get the hell out of here.
What are you doing up there?
I really like the music.
Why wasn't I invited?
Cover!
Oh,
You gonna call me like this all the time, Julie?
Juliana.
I give approximately 0 fucks about what you call yourself.
But you did. Once.
September 14th. 13th, yeah. So
That's a wrap for today, but we'll be back with more breaking news and updates before you know it. See you soon.
Oh, I'll be back with more breaking news and updates before we know it. I heard that. No. All right, let me pause this, and we can chat for a little bit about what we just saw. I'll a little bit too much. Increase this a little bit. Yeah, we can chat for a little bit, talk about what what Sony showed off. So I do have a few super chats. Nick said, at first I thought this concept was kind of boring. Now I'm definitely going to play this. I'm assuming you're talking about Deathloop. Mepsic, you're saying if this game was co-op, it could be more enjoyable and make for some funny gameplay moments. And Kane Z7, you're saying snooze fest. All in all, I have to say it was a fairly decent state of play. I say that because there were actually more indie titles that caught my eye and caught my interest than I was expecting. That game Fist actually looks pretty good. That I forget the name of the game, but it was the Battle Royale one. I was kind of like on the fence with that, like, it could be okay. It looks like it has some potential. But then they said it's going to be free with PlayStation Plus, I think, next month. I think in August till September 6th. So, that's a game that I'll give a shot just because it'll be there. There was that MIDGARD game that actually looked pretty solid. We saw more Sifu, which was very exciting. Unfortunately, it did get delayed to early 2022. So I'm over here hoping for a release date, but we end up getting a delay. But every time I see that game, man, it looks better and better. That is like at the top of my list when it comes to some of the games that's coming to PlayStation, at least some of the indie titles anyway. There were some things in there that I definitely wasn't super interested in. And when it comes to the Deathloop gameplay, yeah, I actually do appreciate Sony giving us a better look at it because it definitely made me feel better about it. I'm feeling a little bit more excited for it than I was previously. It's still not like at the top of my list. It doesn't come off to me as like a must-play title, but I did like what I saw. The combat and the gunplay looks fun. The music's great. I like the banter between the characters. But yeah, it feels like it's just going to be one of these games where I'm going to have to play it to really know for sure whether or not I'm going to just like it and think it's like an okay game and like, yeah, it was pretty solid, because Arcane has a pretty solid track record. So I don't think it'll be a bad game. It looks like at the very least you could walk away from Deathloop feeling like, yeah, that was a pretty solid experience. Not the best, but certainly good, certainly solid. And when I play it, maybe it'll surprise me and be a lot better. But it does look really good, though. Let me see. We have Carlos. You're saying we were told that Sony doesn't support indies. Yeah, I mean, look, it's clear that Sony has a little bit of work to do on the back end. Maybe a lot of work to do. It depends. I don't know the ins and outs, but Sony has a little bit of work to do on the back end. But it is nice to see that they are giving a showcase essentially to indies. We did see Death Stranding as well. I forgot to mention that. That's going to be interesting to me because, I was expecting them to position Death Stranding Director's Cut at pretty much the same way that they positioned Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, which is you're going to get a full expansion with it, right? On top of some extra content. They didn't say anything like that. They did say there's going to be new story missions. They clearly showcased a bunch of the content that's going to be there. I do not know if you never played the game, right? If you never played the game at all and you have a PS5 and you're like, you know what, maybe I'll give it a shot. I think it'll be worth the $70 because you're getting the full game itself and all the extra content and all of the enhancements. So, yeah. But when it comes to how much is going to be there, my big question is how many new story missions. That's what I'm wondering. Because if it's just like 3 or 4 or 5, I don't know. I don't know if I would go back just to play a couple, like a handful of missions. Let Mindseeker, you're saying for the people who said L in the chat probably had their expectations high. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, frankly, Sony set the expectations. Like they pretty much told you that this is exactly what you're gonna get with this state of play. My expectations were actually slightly surpassed, only because again, I'm not a huge fan of indies. So I'm always a little bit cautious going into state of plays that focus on a lot of indies, because a lot of them I'm just not very interested in. I was genuinely a little bit surprised at how many indie games I saw here. I'm like, this looks like something I could maybe try out and play. It's catching my interest. But I thought it was fine. I don't know how many of you caught on to the end where it seems like they were sure to let us know that there's going to be more updates and some other stuff coming soon. So that seems to be an emphasis, which is interesting. Sony emphasized that on the blog post, and then they emphasized it once again at the end of the show. By the way, guys, we have over 2,000 people here, which is awesome. If you could take a moment to hit that like button, show the stream your support. Even if maybe you didn't enjoy the state of play very much, if you want to help my channel out, I'd really appreciate it if you could just hit the like button for me. Then we have iSiler18. You're saying props to Sony for setting expectations. This was boring for the most part. I like Stranding and Judgment, though. Yeah, Judgment was there as well. Yeah, I mean, my whole thing with state of plays, because I've watched every single state of play, is I don't go into state of plays with high expectations, and I listen to what Sony's telling me, like, hey, this is what we're going to be focusing on in the state of play. And I'm like, okay. That doesn't mean that there aren't times where it's a little bit underwhelming, even with my low expectations. It certainly can be. But overall, it's like, people really need to stop going into state of plays expecting major reveals or very exciting announcements. That's just not what Sony does at their state of plays. Their state of plays either focus on a single game with an extended gameplay demo, or they focus on some indie titles, some third-party titles, and maybe a smaller chunk of gameplay, kind of like what we got with Deathloop. I'm going to go check the PlayStation stream. I'm curious to see how people have responded to it. So it has 22,000 likes and about 950 dislikes. So, I'd say that was a pretty successful state of play, honestly. But what I noticed is the view count seems to not be very high for it. Based off of what I can see. Maybe I'm sure it'll increase, but I think if anything's going to hurt this state of play, or maybe, any negative feedback Sony's going to get, I don't think the state of play was that bad, but I think the negativity will stem from, again, the timing of it, because they're doing this state of play that is focusing on the smaller scale stuff at a time when everybody was expecting Sony to be focusing on the bigger stuff. So it's completely understandable that, there's going to be a handful of people, maybe more than that are feeling a little bit disappointed or underwhelmed. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty decent showing. Can't really complain. If I didn't read the blog post and I thought that there was going to be a couple surprises, yeah, I'd probably be upset. But Magnum Visuals, you're saying Microsoft is always getting sloppy seconds. I assume you're referring to to Deathloop being a 1-year timed exclusive on PlayStation 5. I mean, it's really weird to me, because a lot of people, I see a lot of people in the chat, they're like, I can't wait to play this on Game Pass. And it's like, yeah, it is going to come to Game Pass. This is a Bethesda game, and it's so weird, right? Like, I would have never thought that we were going to get a state of play that was focused on a Microsoft studio title, right? It's the most bizarre thing, man. Things have taken a turn, right? And taken a twist. So yeah, Xbox players will be able to play Deathloop at some point. Probably, I think it's a year timed exclusive, and I think it will obviously launch in the Game Pass. So that'll be there eventually. And you know, I actually am curious, like if there's any Xbox fans in the chat, I'm doing my best to read the chat, but anybody who's like mainly playing on Xbox and you're a big fan of like Bethesda or Microsoft Studios, what do you think of Deathloop? Is it a game that you think looks good? You're gonna wait to play it on Game Pass, or maybe you're lucky enough to have a PS5 and an Xbox Series X. Maybe you'll just buy it on PS5. Black Manta, you're saying go and check out Jeff Keighley's poll. This pretty much says it all. I'll go check. Most likely a day one buy. Game Pass, so it looks great. Looks fun. Don't need to see any more of it. I agree. I don't think we need to see any more Deathloop. I think seeing any more Deathloop, I think at this point would be overkill. I'll check Jeff Keighley's poll. See what people are voting. How would you grade today's PlayStation State of Play? A, B, C, D. I think I'll give it a B. I mean, it served its purpose, you know. It's a solid state of play. Some solid indies that I'm looking forward to. Got to see some more Deathloop, Death Stranding. Yeah, so for me, it's a B. 8% gave it an A. This is based off of 12,000 votes, by the way. 8% gave it an A. 25% gave it a B. 31% gave it a C. And 36% gave it a D. So seems like most people are giving it a C or a D, which, yeah. I'm giving it a B because I don't know what people's expectations are for State of Plays anymore. I only know what mine is, what my expectations are. And I mean, you could say, is it time for Sony to change the format of State of Plays? I don't think so. I think it really depends on whether or not Sony does plan to do an event or not. Because what we could see is maybe they won't do an event, but they're going to shift the format of State of Plays where maybe they will start incorporating some big announcements into State of Plays. That could be their plan. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to State of Play, my expectations are usually set. You know, I know that I'm not going to be getting anything overly exciting or big. And it's Sony's way of giving more of a spotlight to indies and third-party titles and, you know, some of their first party as well, or some of their partners. Darkland, you're saying MBG, a lot of Xbox fanboy hate in the chat. Oh, why? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, I'm going to be honest, like, you know, I think that some people right now are taking advantage of the fact that Sony is doing a State of Play during a time when everybody was expecting an event. And I think they're kind of having their fun and whatnot. And I think that's fine. So, I mean, I mean this as sincerely as I can. Like, there's no snark behind what I'm about to say. If you are somebody who tunes in to State of Plays and you don't check the PlayStation blog post, or you don't watch any videos from people like myself or others who make videos covering the blog post, I highly suggest going forward you do, because Sony always sets expectations in the blog post prior to their State of Plays. Like, they practically tell you what they're going to reveal or show. And I just think that it would be really wise if you're somebody who, I mean, look, there's a lot of trolls, obviously, but if you are somebody who's genuinely feeling like, wow, that was a disappointment. I can't believe what I just saw. Because, again, a lot of people are voting D for Jeff Keighley's poll. I have to really question how many of those people were, checked out the blog post. I think what Sony should do potentially as well, and because I don't think this would hurt, they should do a little video with their blog post. Like, when on the day that they announced State of Plays, they should have Sid Schumann record literally like a minute-long video, maybe even less than that, just pretty much reading what he wrote on the blog post. I think that would get, that would get a lot of views. A lot of people would watch that and they would know. And it's not them like saying don't watch our show or our State of Play, but just letting more people be aware of what the expectation is and the expectation that they're setting. That could be a bad idea. I don't know. But saying, MBG, get someone to moderate your chat. It's getting ridiculous with all these children in the chat just trolling. I don't know how many mods are here right now. I know my wife is modding. I'm sure there's a few others as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like, I'm just being totally honest. It's really difficult for me to pay attention to the chat outside of super chats because it does get kind of ridiculous. There's a lot of good stuff in there. There's a lot of people just trying to genuinely say some stuff, but there's a lot of just crap that I can't keep up with. So, yeah, you're saying, I play Xbox One but want a PS5. When will I be able to get a PS5? Any news? Currently, there's not really any major news. It seems like we're still in that period where, you know, chip shortages and semiconductor shortages, it's a real thing. It's still a pretty significant issue, and it seems like it's not going to be fully alleviated until hopefully, at best, sometime in 2022, but it looks like it might not even be till 2023. However, you know, I've been hearing more and more people telling me they're getting their hands on a PS5, so keep trying. Hopefully you'll get lucky soon, and you'll be able to secure one. Leo, you're saying, is it me, or is another loop game not appetizing right now? Yeah, actually, you know what? I did think about that. I'm still playing Returnal. I'm still grinding to get the platinum, and it's just not working out in my favor. I am not being blessed by the RNG gods. But yeah, I did catch on to that too, where I was like, actually, yeah, this is like a loop game, you know? That's like the whole premise of the game. It's called Deathloop, and I like kind of forgot, like, oh wait, yeah. You know, you die and kind of keep rinse and repeat. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that'll be interesting as well, because I feel like I got my fill with Returnal. So when I play Deathloop, it's either going to go, again, in one of two directions. I'm either going to be like, oh, this is great. I love this. I'm having fun. Or I'm going to be like, oh, man, like, you know, I had enough of the loop games, you know, of dying and repeating over and over again. We'll see, though. I'm definitely looking forward to it. My hope is that Sony is going to be able to get Horizon Forbidden West out this year, because the idea of Deathloop being like the only bigger PlayStation exclusive or title that they're going to have, you know, it's going to be rough if that's it. I won't lie. Because I don't think Deathloop is enough to carry the rest of the year. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut is going to be nice. But again, I did already play it. Death Stranding Director's Cut, same thing. There's going to be some indies, some smaller titles. But yeah, I'm really hoping Sony will be able to get Horizon out the door before the end of the year. I don't want them to rush it. If they can't, they can't. But that's my hope. Green Al Gill, you're saying, unpopular opinion, but I think Sony should copy the Nintendo Direct system, where we get a good mix of indies, first and third party games in a bit under 1 hour. Yeah, it seems like Sony does state of plays much more frequently than the way Nintendo does their directs. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I'm correct about that. And you could argue that maybe it would be better for Sony to have state of plays more spread out, but have them be more content packed and have, you know, more first party stuff included. But I will tell you this, that honestly would be my expectation going forward if Sony doesn't do an event. Sony's going to have to show God of War. They're going to have to show more Horizon. They're going to have to announce new games. They can't announce every new game in a blog post. At least I think that would be a very unwise thing to do. So with that in mind, it's like, yeah, you know, I could see them, if they choose not to do a traditional event, I could see them really pumping up their state of plays going forward. But again, I feel like that's completely contingent on whether or not they do an event. That's the big question. I'll tell you this right now. I think if Sony is not going to do an event, I think what they need to do is announce whatever their next plan is, or their next content drop, whatever they're going to do. I think it would be in their best interest to announce that as soon as possible, and simultaneously just straight up tell people, like, we're not doing a full event. Like, we're going to just distribute it. You could say that they maybe already said that, but I don't think they made that clear. I think it's still up in the air. And I think that as of right now, a lot of PlayStation fans, even those of us who, those who were the most patient, right, and are willing to wait or just, enjoy what's on offer now and not worry about what's next. I think even those fans would appreciate just Sony coming out and being like, this is our plan, or this is what we're going to do. Because it is up in the air right now. They are being ambiguous about it. Swizz, you're saying good show, just not big enough for after E3. Yeah, again, I think it's the timing of it more than anything. It's like E3 came and went, and Xbox had, to most people, a very good E3 showing. They had a great big show that, was content packed, a good hour and a half. And so, again, people are expecting, well, if Sony's going to come out here, they're going to have to match that, right? And it's like, well, they're going to do a state of play that's not going to match that. And then maybe they will. I have confidence in Sony. Sony, to be completely honest, has not given me a reason to doubt that they're not going to do something. Again, it may not come in the form of an event, but I'm confident that Sony is, they're straight up telling us like they're going to have more updates. I'm confident that Sony is saving, at the very least, one thing I can say for sure, God of War. And I think that it doesn't really matter when they decide to show that or what form it comes in, whether it's a state of play or an event. I think that God of War is going to be a big deal. I think that that's going to be something where it's like, okay, like this is a big moment, very exciting moment. Where's that mic drop you talked about? Yeah, I dropped the ball on that one, man. I was overly confident, for sure. I do think Sony still has a mic drop. I just, I was completely wrong in saying it's around the corner, right? It's always funny when it's like, hey guys, I'm pretty sure Sony has a mic drop moment around the corner. And it's like, actually, we have a state of play focused on indies and Deathloop. And it's like, okay, that's not a mic drop, but it's something. So let me see. We have War Cryo 07. You're saying there is no Xbox win or Sony win. It's about us and what we get from both. Fan people is so low level everywhere. Yeah, I do agree. I think that, it can't always be about the competition aspect because it really does. It's never been more obvious than it is now that Sony and Microsoft are just doing two different things. They are. That doesn't mean that I think Sony should not try to match Xbox's E3 in terms of the amount of content that they're going to show and potentially reveal. I think they should. That's what I want. I think that's what everybody wants. But we do have to try to understand, and this is something I've been trying to understand more lately as well, is that things are just not the way they used to be. The industry is just not the way it used to be. Things are done very differently now. This is a very different Sony than we saw in the past, that we've seen in the past. They do still get the most important thing right, and that actually hasn't changed. That being that they make great games, they make a great console, they deliver those great games. That's why we're all PlayStation fans to begin with, but the way Sony operates, I talked about this in my video yesterday, it's just different. It's just not the way it used to be. And whether or not you think that's a good or a bad thing, I do think that is subjective. But I think at this point, if I had to summarize it the best way I could, I don't speak for all PlayStation fans. I only speak for myself, but I'm sure that there are some PlayStation fans who would agree with me. I think the problem right now, if there is any at all, or the reason why so many people seem so discontent with Sony right now, is that the time for Sony to ring the bell and have that focal point moment that everybody's used to getting from both Sony and Microsoft and even Nintendo, we're all used to getting it, having that focal point moment of the year with the big reveals and the exciting gameplay demonstrations and whatnot, that time traditionally has kind of come and gone, right? Like June is over. We're now approaching the middle of July, and We just got a state of play. So I think it's a timing thing. If Sony is going to do an event later this year, whether it's in August or even September, that's not normally how it's done. And so therefore people are feeling, like confused. Understandably so. I think a lot of PlayStation fans are feeling a little bit confused and a little bit unsure of like, oh, well, what is Sony going to do next? What is their next move? You're saying, Space Gambler Jr. saying very entitled attitudes. Yeah, I mean, I think there is a little bit of entitlement there for sure, but I think it's a fair question to ask. Well, what is Sony going to do next? To me, that's the fairest question to ask. Whether you're a PlayStation fan, whether you're somebody who can't stand PlayStation, I think the fairest question is, what is Sony going to do next? What do they have up their sleeve, if anything? That's the question that everybody's waiting to have answered, because we know that the state of play isn't it, right? Like that, the state of play, it's a state of play. It served its purpose. It's nice. It's fine. But people are wondering, this felt like this felt like an appetizer, and everybody's wondering, when's the main course going to come out? That's what we're waiting for. And I think that's totally fair. Let me see. Have some more super chats. Master Yoda, you're saying MBG, the state of play is not what we need at this point in time. It's unacceptable. They need to fire their entire PR/comms team. It is absolutely a D. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I don't feel that way. I really don't. If I did, I would tell you. I would say, yeah, I actually agree with you. But I think that's a little bit of an extreme reaction. I think you're entitled to it. And I think that there are, quite a few people who would agree with you. But I think that if you were to say to me that, yeah, I don't think this was the right time necessarily to do a state of play, it seems a little bit out of place and not in line with expectations at all, I would agree. But the idea that it's completely unacceptable and that their entire PR comms team needs to be fired, that's a bit extreme, man. I don't know. I think Sony's PR team, while I do think they could maybe, I don't know. I don't know what areas they would need to improve in. Maybe just trying actively to create better optics, I think would help. But Sony's PR team has, to be honest, after the ad that Sony, I don't know if you guys saw this on Sony's official Twitter, they released an ad that featured somebody playing God of War on their PlayStation 5, sitting on the sofa. And if you looked in their entertainment center, the PlayStation 5 was completely upside down, man. Like, and to be honest, it's like, you want to talk about something that's completely unacceptable? That right there is unacceptable, man. Like, how did that get greenlit? Like, who did that? Who did that? And the worst part, too, is it brought back memories for those who may have forgotten that back when the PlayStation 5 launched, Herman Holst actually tweeted a picture of himself with the PS5 in his entertainment center, and he did the same thing. He had his PS5 completely upside down. And people were like, you're trolling, right? And I don't think he was trolling. I don't know. Like, that to me is like, how? How does that, unless you're like trying to make a joke, how does that happen? Right? But yeah. Let me see. See, like, Master Yoda, just to finish what I was saying, is like, you're entitled to your opinion, obviously, and I don't agree with it, but I think that that's where we need to cut Sony a little bit of slack. Like, I know some people think I'm a fanboy for saying that, but come on, like, we can't sit here and make it sound like Sony hasn't been delivering some good games and that they haven't been doing anything, that they've just been completely dropping the ball constantly. I mean, if there's some things they've been doing that you're just not a big fan of, or maybe you're not a big fan of the games they've released so far, I could understand that. But, it has to be a give and take thing here where, the idea that it's unacceptable. Well, hold on. Sony Sony has delivered some pretty solid gaming experiences in the past year and a half, 2 years. I think they've earned a little bit of patience from the fan base. And I could be wrong, maybe they're taking advantage of that, but I think we should just calm down and remain patient and see what happens. And, people want to make fun of me for that and be like, oh, now you're waiting. Well, okay. I mean, I just got done playing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart and I'm still playing Returnal, but sure, I'm waiting. Okay. I'm willing to be a little bit patient is what I'm saying. I'm not going to jump the gun and assume that, well, this is what we're getting for the year, guys. We're getting a state of play focused on Deathloop and some indies, and that's it. I guess that's all. People say, dude, don't be overly hyped. Don't be overly hyped. Calm down. Relax. We don't have to be overly hyped about everything, and I get that. And I'm practicing that. I'm not overly hyped. I'm calm, I'm cool, I'm collected. But I also feel like I can't jump into the deep end of, anger and sorrow and like, I can't stand Sony. What are they doing? They're letting me down. That's all they do. I can't do that either because that's not how I feel. Like that would feel forced. Does that mean they will? They could? Yeah, it's possible. But I mean, honestly, it feels like it's pointless sometimes. I feel like it's pointless to try to explain myself because the people who think that I'm just a fanboy and I'm only damage controlling, there's nothing I could say or do to sway their opinion. No matter how calm, cool, and collected I try to be, no matter how logical I try to be, how much I try to explain myself, they're not going to want to hear it. They're not going to accept it. They just want to laugh and they want to dunk on me, I guess. And, that's fine. That's going to happen. But all in all, I can't say that I'm feeling that disappointed if I feel disappointed at all. I thought it was perfectly fine. It was exactly what I expected. My hope at this point, I've been talking to you guys. You want to know what I want? What I want personally? What I want right now? Or what I want in the next couple of weeks? I want Sony to come out and I want them to tell me that we do have an event. And this is when it's going to be. And this is how long it's going to be. And we hope you'll show up to it. That's what I personally want. I don't know if that's what I'll get, but that's what I want. That's personally what I want. And if I don't get that in the next 4 to 8 weeks, I will definitely question, assuming Sony won't be saying anything else at that time, I will definitely question, what is Sony doing? What are they doing being so quiet when they should be definitely talking right now? But we just got the state of play. I'm going to view it right now as the appetizer for whatever is coming next, whatever updates they have. And yeah. Mindseeker, you're saying many people should read the description when Sony announces their upcoming events because it's getting ridiculous. I mean, the truth is people are going to forget about the state of play in a couple days. Most people will. And that's the thing about it is that, there's a lot of people who are acting who are disappointed or they're acting extreme, like, oh, that was the worst thing I ever saw. And that's normal that, even people were saying that about Xbox's event, saying it was the worst thing ever. And it's like, no, it wasn't the worst thing ever. That's just how it is. And people are going to forget about it, and they're going to move on. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how the next 4 to 6 weeks unfold. I do. I'm not saying that as in we should be hyped or excited. I'm not saying that it's going to be bad. I'm just saying that I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see how the next 4 to 6 weeks unfold, because depending on what happens in between that time, the conversation could change dramatically and rapidly. Again, depending on what happens. Anthony, you're saying, do you think the state of play was driven by their Deathloop exclusivity deal or to buy time to finish a God of War gameplay reveal? I don't know. I think that if I had to guess, I think that the state of play was already planned. And that here's a good one for you. I think it's a possibility that Sony was going to do their big event today. It leaked out. A bunch of people were talking about it. We know how much Sony can't stand leakers, can't stand insiders. And like, you know what? We have a state of play that we were going to do after our event. Now we're just going to reverse it. We're just going to reverse it now. I say that because last year, that's exactly what Sony did. Last year, Sony had an event in June of 2020. And then not too long after that, I think it was early August, they had their state of play. And then they did another event after that. And it's like, maybe that's kind of what they're doing here, but reversed. We're like, we can't give any credibility to these insiders. That's just, yeah, no, I know Sony wouldn't do that. They're not going to just flip it. They can't, they literally can't do that. I'm joking around. The truth is Sony has to plan this stuff out if they are doing an event, just like Microsoft and every other, major publisher. They have to plan it out with their partners and whatnot. They can't just turn to their partners and be like, we are furious about these leaks. We're switching it. They can't do that. But to me, it's really funny to think about how insane Sony must get over leakers and stuff, though. Like the extent that they will go to stop leaks and go after the people who are leaking stuff. Let me see. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they did need more time. Maybe that's what it comes down to. Maybe, if anything, I think it would be more likely that they were aiming to maybe have an event this month, but maybe they realized they need more time, and I don't know, they maybe sped up the production of this state of play, to get it together quicker. Maybe not, though. I don't know. The truth is, I have no idea. I don't think anybody really knows how Sony operates behind the scenes. Okay, we have Misfit Backs. You're saying Sony is just giving us the appetizers before the main course. PSX will be a huge one. We all need to be patient. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm ready for anything. I really am. I'm ready for I'm ready for Sony to not have an event. I'm ready for them to have the biggest event they ever had. I'm ready for anything in between. I truly am. I expect literally anything. I'm still interested to know what Blue Box is doing, though. They went silent, completely silent. They went dark. And, some people were saying to me, you're like, well, Blue Box went away. They said that they're not going to return again with their app or whatever, their trailer, whatever it is, until August. And a lot of people are now saying, oh, well, if Sony's not doing an event in July, then maybe they'll do it in August because, hey, that's when we're going to see Blue Box. I don't know. I expect anything. I don't know. Who knows? If somebody knows, tell me. I probably won't believe you, but tell me. New Soul 9, you're saying, hey, MBG, quick question. In the next couple of years, people that own a PS5, if they see a lack of indie in the PlayStation platform, you're going to say, oh, just go spend another $500 to play on an Xbox. No, I'm not going to say that. I mean, look, truthfully speaking, if there was enough people, if it was a large group of people, and it may be currently, but I don't know. I don't think it is. If there are a large group of people that right now are like, I don't want to play on PlayStation because there's not enough indie support, then yeah, that's a problem, and Sony should do something to bring those players on or bring them back. Obviously, the answer is not go spend another $500, but I just, again, it's difficult for me to truly determine how serious the problem is because I only have so much perspective. It's like I said previously. if the indie situation is that bad and Sony does nothing about it and it continues to get worse and worse and worse over time to the point where it creates some serious problems for them, then yeah, everything we're hearing is totally justified and Sony has to do something about it. But we have to wait and see what Sony's going to do. For all we know, this is all they needed. For all we know, maybe Sony's like, oh, we're getting some negative headlines and developers are coming out and they're speaking against us and they're making us look bad. And maybe that's all Sony needed. Maybe Sony's like internally right now, they're like, all right, let's figure this out. Let's fix our back end a little bit. Let's make it, easier for indie devs to kind of interact with our platform. So no, I'm not going to tell people to just go spend another $500 to play Xbox or to go, play it on Xbox. No, that's ridiculous, and that should never be the answer. Mindseeker, you're saying the way Sony said they would give more updates soon can be anything. Maybe they'll reveal the God of War sequel out of nowhere as a surprise. They could. Yeah, again, dude, just have to reiterate, literally expecting anything. I'm expecting anything. I'm expecting a God of War trailer out of the sky. I'm expecting an event. I'm expecting 5 stated plays. I'm expecting no stated plays. I'm expecting nothing. I'm expecting anything. I really am. And I would honestly encourage as many people as I can to have that same expectation. I say that because I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't want to say expecting anything is low expectations, but it just means that, you'll most likely be happy with what you get, whatever that may be. Let me see. Drive by Joe, you're saying a bunch of nobodies telling Sony what to do. Mind blown. Yeah, I mean, look, I think that it's important. The community obviously voices their opinions, but I think the problem with the internet is it can be very difficult to wade through all of those opinions because there's just so many and they're all so different, and it can be impossible to tell, what's the truth? What should we do? Who should we listen to? And that's where I do try to, calm down and realize, Sony's been doing this for a long time. They can mess up just like any other entity can. They can mess up big time. But give them the credit that they've been doing this for a long time. They haven't really let me down in a major way yet or so far. I've been enjoying the games that they've been releasing. I've been enjoying my PlayStation 5. They still have other games that I'm looking forward to coming out. And I'm just going to trust the process for now, I guess, and not assume that it's all going to come crashing down. I think what gets frustrating for me is people who are feeling really down, people who do feel really bad, they come to me and they say, that's how I should feel. And if I don't feel that way, I'm just a corporate shill or a fanboy. And that bothers me because I just feel like that's not fair. If you want me to be open-minded and hear others out and hear the reasons why they feel that way, I will have no problem doing that. In fact, I enjoy doing that. But, there are many people who tell me, MBG, this is how you should feel. And to feel any other way is wrong. And I'm just like, well, frankly, those are people that I'm never going to listen to. I'm never even going to give them the time of day because, first of all, I don't know how anybody can go about their life believing that they can tell other people how they should feel. It's a little weird to me, If you want to suggest to people like, hey, maybe look at it from this viewpoint or check it out from this angle, it might change how you feel. There you go. Now we're talking. That's the way to do it. You can't just be heavy-handed on people and say, this is how you should feel because I said so. No one's ever going to listen to you if you're doing that. I mean, that's, everybody should know that. GH is what I'm going to call you if you don't mind, because if I attempt to pronounce your name, I'm definitely going to butcher it. So I'm just going to call you GH. You're saying the next rumored date for a PlayStation event is August 12th. This was said by Quim6, who leaked Far Cry footage and this July 8th date. He's got sources. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be brutal. But it's necessary. I don't care. I don't care anymore about sources, about who has them, who's got them, who doesn't, who wants the clout, who doesn't. I don't care. I see that people are talking about that. I'm going to say, let's just wait for Sony to announce it. Okay? Unless, again, I know that you're saying yes, sources. Unless somebody who has a career in this industry, okay? Unless somebody who has a career in this industry and also has sources is willing to back that up and verify it or reveal that themselves, I don't care, and I'm not going to pay attention. If it's just somebody with, a name on a forum, I don't care. I just don't. If it's somebody who seemingly has nothing to lose, then I'm not going to listen anymore. I have been burned over and over and over, and I've also allowed many viewers of my audience to be burned over and over and over. I'm tired of hearing the word insider. I'm tired of hearing about this person that said this because sources. Like, it's, I'd literally get more enjoyment at this point just waiting for Sony to give me the word. That's all. So, and I'm not being GH, I'm not being rude to you, man. I appreciate the super chat and I appreciate you letting me know that, but I'm just making it clear that, I can't do it anymore. I just can't, because it's too frustrating and it's just not healthy at this point, It's not healthy. So let's just wait for Sony, or possibly for somebody who we can genuinely trust, who has a lot to lose, So that's also something I don't know if you guys will notice, but it seems that anybody who does have something to lose, something significant, like, their career potentially, or their credibility that they've spent years building up, notice how none of them are saying anything. They're all quiet. They don't say anything about Sony. And I think it's smart. It's not, I don't know if it's smart, but it just tells me that it's either A, Sony's plans are shifting so constantly that they don't even want to try, or that, Sony is, they're so intense about cracking down on leakers and insiders that they will end your career. If you're somebody who has a career that it can be ended and is worth ending, they'll do it if you leak it. I do believe Sony is like that. Master Yoda, you might hear my son in the background, by the way. He's like yelling right now. He does this thing now where he gets overly tired, and the way he puts himself to sleep is he just yells. He doesn't cry, he just yells. So you may hear that. Master Yoda, again, you're saying MBG, they played this obnoxious, secretive, hard-to-get comms strategy that only frustrates us. They didn't do that before, and they were better for it. Well, look, man, I'm not saying that the strategy they're implementing can't be frustrating at times, because it can be. It can be. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying that Sony's strategy is perfect and that I love every single aspect of it. No, I'm a PlayStation content creator, and believe me when I tell you, if there's anybody out here who can feel the effects of the negative side of this strategy, it is me. And I know that many of you feel it as well. But at the same time, again, like that, I feel like I have to take most of the responsibility for that on my channel, because no one's telling me I should cover this leak. No one's telling me I should cover this rumor or highlight this person that's saying this thing. No one's telling me that I have to spend all of my time talking about what I want to see next, what I hope to see next. I can spend some of my time doing that. I could even spend a good chunk of my time doing that. But I don't have to make that the only thing we focus on. And what it's kind of told me is that, when Sony delivers, they deliver. I think we can all agree on that. When Sony delivers, 9 times out of 10, they really do deliver. but it takes time. And they do have a very quiet, very shadowy, very strategic, I guess, if you want to call it that, strategy that they implement and that they employ. And so in that time, you're saying he's singing, not screaming. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's a better way to put it. He's singing. He's not screaming, he's singing. But, it can be frustrating at times, but, it tells me that I'm going to have to just, be patient and find other things to discuss and talk about on the channel rather than constantly being like, okay, guys, well, here's rumor number, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 coming from who knows who, it doesn't mean I won't cover any rumors or any leaks or any insiders ever again, but it just means that I'm going to be extremely hesitant and I'm going to do some research and I'm going to want to know who is saying this and where do they come from and what do they have to lose and what is their track record truly, That's how I want to approach it going forward. We have Black Manta. Once again, you're saying the issue for me is the consistent PR/optics and transparency issue. Outside of the Xbox Live mistake, Microsoft has, for the most part, been clean. Yeah, so look, if you were to say to me, MBG, do you think that it would be a good idea for Sony to try to be a little bit more transparent, a little bit more talkative, and a little bit less secretive? My answer to that is, yeah, absolutely. I don't think that could hurt them at all. I think that, frankly, that could only help. And you could say that maybe that's exactly what Sony needs right now. Maybe that is what they should do. But at the same time, I feel like it's too soon to say that because Sony hasn't revealed their hand yet. At least it seems to me that they haven't. And they're still going to reveal more. And I think that we need to wait until they reveal their entire hand. And then we can evaluate, well, this risky game, this risky PR optics transparency game that Sony's playing, where they want to play the shadowy figure that, just kind of goes dark and then emerges when the time is right, leaving people to feel a little bit unsure. Did it pay off or did it work against them? And I feel like that's something we have to evaluate once we're fully through it. I think that's a lot of people right now, like Sony saying, guys, we have more updates. More updates are coming. This is what Sony is literally communicating to us directly. And there's people out here acting like it's over. It's over. Like it's the beginning of July. Like let's calm down. Okay. We got plenty of time left. Let's wait and see. Let Sony reveal their hand before you judge them and judge their tactics. We have to see it unfold before we can confidently say whether it was a mistake or not. That's my opinion anyway. Space Devakin, you're saying the drought is real. I don't know. I've been playing a healthy amount of games. Again, I'm still playing Returnal. I am. It's, I feel like between now and August, it's not a very long wait for Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut and Kena Bridge of Spirits. So I don't really feel that we're in a drought, but if you're talking about a news drought, like a new games announced drought or something like that, then yeah. Kevin, you're saying all the games outside of Sifu are coming within the next 3 months. This seems like their monthly state of play. Yeah, that is true. Sifu was the only one seemingly that wasn't coming soon or with, very, very soon. So I actually didn't pick up on that. That would explain that. Yeah. Magnum Visuals, you're saying Microsoft needs to step it up to keep Sony on their toes. Nintendo got lazy because there's no other company doing a handheld system. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I can't really speak to Nintendo. I don't follow Nintendo close enough to be able to properly evaluate them. I think Microsoft is stepping it up. I think that, Microsoft, I'm going to be honest, I think Microsoft has been doing pretty good. Like a lot of the stuff they're doing, or at least a good chunk of it, doesn't speak to me. So a lot of it does, though. Some of it does, for sure. I mean, I say a lot, but it's just the stuff that I'm mostly interested in is seemingly a ways out, but there's no doubt Microsoft has been stepping it up, and I like it. Like, people may not know this, but I like it. Like, I know that it's like, oh man, like I'm taking my L's and I don't know when Sony's going to have their event. Like, I know that's how it's portrayed on the internet and whatnot, but the honest to God truth is, like, this is what needs to happen. Because if Sony has any thoughts, if they are, like, we don't know for sure, but if they have any thoughts of getting complacent, I can assure you the things that Microsoft is doing, at least when it comes to them getting very serious about, we have a lot of games. They may not all be coming right now or maybe even anytime soon, but they're going to come. And when they do, like, it's going to be, you know, a bombardment of games here. And, you know, they're getting, most importantly, a lot of positive feedback from the internet, from the gaming community. It's not all positive, but a lot of it is. And that's good because that's going to make Sony pay attention and be like, oh, okay. All right. We see you, Microsoft. All right, we're going to keep doing our thing, but we see you. And that's what's good. You know, that's what we need. So, little bit of humility goes a long way, you know, when it comes to this type of stuff. iSiler18, you're saying current owners of Stranding pay $10 for the director's cut. It's on PlayStation Twitter. Yeah, well, you know, that's going to be another PR nightmare for for Sony. And, you know, I told you guys, like, for me, it's like, okay, like $10, sure. But this Sony needs to be aware, like, that. I know this isn't impacting their bottom line, but I don't know. It feels like Sony's just like, if we can make money off this, we're going to make money off it. We don't care how upset you are. We don't care how mad you are. And yeah, like, that kind of does hurt to hear or see, because it's like, well, you know, like, you're just okay with with bad optics. You know what I mean? Like, and the truth is, guys, I'm going to be brutal. Sony might be okay with it in this case, because it's like I try to explain to you, you know, Ghost of Tsushima is selling perfectly fine. The director, it's selling fine. Like, they're going to make a lot of money. They're going to make millions of dollars off of Ghost of Tsushima director's cut. They're probably going to make millions of dollars off of Death Stranding. Like, they don't care about the tiers. And I understand, and I can see I can sympathize and empathize with the viewpoint of, well, that just sucks. You know, like, why doesn't, like, you know, Sony's competition isn't doing this, at least not in the same way. Why? It's like, well, money. Like, that's the only way. I'm going to be honest. Like, the only way Sony stops doing this is if people stop buying it. It's not a difficult concept to understand, but it may be a difficult concept for some people to understand because they don't think it should work that way. And I understand why they think that. They think it's a morality thing where it's like, well, that's not right. And it's like, yeah, but this is business. And in business, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's not necessarily about what's right and what's wrong. It's about what makes money and what doesn't. And I you know, I know some people don't like when I talk like that because they think I'm defending Sony. And I'm not. I'm not defending Sony. Like, I try to tell you guys, like, hey, if Sony came out and was like, here's Death Stranding and Ghost of Tsushima PS5 upgrades for free, I'd be like, awesome. You know, that's great. But they're not. And they're saying, we want $10. And that's where it's like, well, you know, like, I want to play it. And, you know, I guess sometimes I get a little bit, you know, I go a little bit over the top because people get so extreme with their reactions. It makes me feel like sometimes I end up being the antithesis of that, right? Where it's like, well, you're going to make it sound like paying $10 is ruining your life. I'm going to tell you why it's making my life great, you know? And it's like, well, both of those takes are unnecessarily extreme. Maybe we can keep it as, hey, some people are just not feeling very good about having to pay $10 and they don't feel that it's right. Other people feel fine paying $10 because to them it's not a big deal. It's only $10 and they want to play the game. And that's that. And you have to decide which side you fall on. And yeah, it's not a good look for Sony though. Like, there's no way around that. to be completely frank. Like, it's not a good look. It's going to make them money, but it's not a good look, you know? People want it's entitlement, it is, but people want their upgrades for free. Whether that entitlement is justified is up for you to decide, but people want their upgrades for free. And yeah, there are other publishers who do give their upgrades for free, and that I think is really what makes Sony look bad, you know? By the way, you know what? Real quick, before I continue on this tangent, okay, all right. I need to correct something. I'm assuming this is true. You're telling me that it's $10 for the DLC. And okay, all right, hold on. I apologize. I should have looked it up myself. It's $10 for everything. It's a $10 upgrade for everything. So the extra DLC, the extra content, and the upgrade. Okay? So that's fair to me. That's totally fair. If that's true. I'm not saying I don't believe you guys, but I'm saying that right now because I have to verify it for myself. But I do believe that because that makes a lot more sense to me. So yeah, $10 for Death Stranding Director's Cut upgrade. If you already own it, you get the upgrade as well as all the extra content. Yeah, that sounds really good to me. And yeah, I would definitely pay that for sure. That's actually quite the opposite. That's quite the opposite. Like, that's actually good value. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, Mepsic, you're saying I was wondering what you were talking about. Yeah, so I do apologize. I probably should have checked on that. You know what? Let me do this now, just to avoid any confusion. I'm gonna go to the PlayStation blog. I'm gonna do it on my phone real quick because I just think that would be the smartest thing to do right now. Just to make sure. I want to have my own confirmation of it. Death Stranding Director's Cut launches on PS5, September 24th. I go down to the bottom. I'm assuming that's where the pricing will be. Upgrade path defined. If you already own the PS4 version of Death Stranding, you can get the PS5 Death Stranding Director's Cut Digital Deluxe Edition upgrade. It's a long name for only $10. So is that buy any version of Death Stranding for PS4 and get the Death Stranding Director's Cut Digital Deluxe Edition upgrade for PS5 for the same price mentioned above. So I guess that covers physical and digital, if I'm reading that correctly. Yeah, buy any version of Death Stranding. If you already own the PS4 version. Yeah, so I get that upgrade path I think applies to both physical and digital, which is great. That's great. Like that's perfect. That's actually a win for Sony. That's great. That's a perfect deal. I mean, I do assume, and I don't see it here, I do assume that if you don't own the game and you want the PS5 version in full, you'll probably still have to pay full price for that, which again is perfectly fair for those who've never played it before. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm actually glad because I was really concerned for a second there. I was like, uh-oh, this is not going to be good. Because I was thinking for some reason it was going to be just like Ghost of Tsushima, like $10 just for the upgrade and then another 10 or 20 for the extra content. So that's good. It's $50 full price? Really? I feel like I can't confirm that right now, but if that's true, that's actually pretty good. Pretty good. All right, let me get to some of these other super chats. Okay. Hold on, guys. I got a bunch of super chats. Current PS5 owners of Death Stranding pay $10. Okay, I got that one. Master Yoda, you're saying MBG, when you were with Xbox, you always said we need to demand better. Yes, PlayStation has the games, but that doesn't justify their annoying secretive BS. Well, I mean, I understand that, and I know that I said that constantly towards Microsoft, but you have to understand that I always said, and I always said this, that the thing I'm demanding from Microsoft is better games. That was the thing I was always demanding. And that was what I was encouraging Xbox players to demand as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Sony is absolutely perfect. There are things that Sony can improve, and they should, and I hope they are. But for me to make it sound like these are the things that matter to me most would be disingenuous. The games matter to me most. You know, if Sony didn't have an event this year and didn't announce any new games, I'd be like, oh man, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? That's not good. You know, and they're like, wait till 2022 and then we'll show you new games. I'd be like, I don't think that's smart or good. That sounds really bad, actually. You know, it wouldn't make sense for them to do that. And, you know, right now, what I feel like I don't feel like I have to demand anything from Sony right now, except, you know, if I'm going to be patient and I'm going to, you know, chill, I hope that it doesn't work against me. I hope that you end up, you know, delivering something. But again, I told you I expect anything. When Sony starts dropping the ball on the games, okay? When Sony starts messing up the games, then you're going to hear me out here yelling, we need to demand better from PlayStation and from Sony. If that day comes, then you'll hear it. But you know, we're not there yet. And I don't think we're going to get there. I hope we don't. So your Space Gambler Jr. saying it's $50 on Amazon. That's great, dude. That's actually really good. I'm glad, because that means a lot more people who have PS5 who maybe haven't played it yet, Death Stranding, they're probably going to buy it. Because $50 is a pretty good deal. Yeah, that's actually a really good deal now I'm thinking about it. Everything you're getting with the PS5 version, that's a great deal, $50. Yeah, Death Stranding's a great game. Highly recommend it. Mindseeker, you're saying, from now on, I'm no longer following any rumors. Don't care if it's verified or not, or any leaks. I want to wait for Sony to officially announce whatever. Yeah, and that's that's the thing, is another reason I feel totally confident in doing that right now. And not only because it's just annoying following all these freaking insiders all the time and the rumors and the leaks. You know, I might still talk about it on the podcast maybe, because it's just more loose conversation, but I'm not going to be like, hey guys, like, check out this dude's Twitter and what he said. Like, Sony is saying themselves they have more updates coming very soon. They have more to talk about. So they're letting us know. We don't need to worry about leaks. At least that's what they're trying to say. Edward, you're saying From Software PS5 exclusive, Castlevania or Bloodborne 2. For me, I'm going to say Bloodborne 2. A Castlevania would be incredible, but Bloodborne 2 all the way. Bloodborne 2 all the way, if that were to be a thing that happens. Master Yoda, again, you're saying, well, on that note, buddy, I miss your old content when you would make dedicated reaction videos to the PlayStation games you played, like God of War and Bloodborne. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe, you know, I'll start going back to that older, more creative content to help diversify the content here on the channel. I mean, you know, I talk a lot about the news and stuff like that, and that's not going to change. People seem to find certainly some value in my longer form news videos with timestamps. I'll have the podcast. We'll do the streams. I found a lot of success streaming more recently. Seems like there's definitely an audience here that really enjoys the streams. But we could start doing some stuff like that too. I definitely plan to continue to diversify the channel a little bit more going forward. I think that would be beneficial for everybody, including myself. So thank you for that. And then Magnum Visuals, you're saying Sony is going to turn Housemarque into a true AAA studio. I doubt Bethesda will be pushed like that when Microsoft's focus is volume. Well, again, you know, that's the difference between the approach that Sony. You're saying, man, I low-key like your leaks / insider videos. Well, hey, man, if in the future there seems to be some leakers and insiders that don't get crushed by their own, you know, the stuff that they're saying, right? Like their own statements, then sure, we can cover that. But 9 times out of 10, they get crushed by it, and we get crushed by it, and it's just wrong, you know. or it's just very loose. It's like loosely accurate. But yeah, dude, that's just the different approach between Sony and Microsoft. Microsoft is more about volume. Obviously, they're going to need quality to an extent, but you know what I'm learning too, and I'm gonna be completely honest. It's not just about the AAA stuff that Sony produces. I mean, it's a big part of it, and like that's a huge allure for me with PlayStation and why I like PlayStation. But it's also the type of games they make. You know, I do expect Sony to diversify much more so this generation than what we saw in the past, say, 3 to 4 years. We're gonna get those cinematic, single player, over the shoulder, narrative driven, you know, experiences and those open world experiences, or linear. But I think we're going to start to see some more multiplayer games. We're going to start to see some more just different types of games. I think that's going to be great. But again, like these types of games that Sony makes, Microsoft just currently doesn't have anything like it. And I'm not saying they need to have something like it, but I'm just saying that's a big reason why I still am very hesitant with Microsoft, where it's like, yeah, you got Bethesda, you have all these studios, but I have to evaluate which games, because there's a lot of games in development at Microsoft Studios, which games really speak to me and stand out to me like, yeah, this might actually make me want to go reinvest in the Xbox ecosystem. There are some games like Hellblade 2, State of Decay 3 is one I'm very much looking forward to. I like the Forza Horizon games. And I'm sure there's others that we know about that I'm just currently not thinking of. But, you know, it's different, you know? Like, it's different when I see Sony release a game like Returnal. And, like, we don't see anything even remotely like that, in my opinion anyway, on Microsoft's side. And, you know, do they need it? That's for each person to determine. But when I see a game like Returnal, when I see a game like Demon Souls, when I see a game like, you know, Horizon Forbidden West, I just don't see these types of experiences on Microsoft's side. You know, even this year, right? Like the biggest games that Microsoft is launching is Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite. And that's great. I'm not taking that away from them. That's actually great. And a lot of people are going to be very happy about that. But it's just, for me, you know, it's going to be more than that. It's good. They're going to, sorry, I got super distracted for a second there because I thought my stream crashed. I'm going to be ending it in just a minute here anyway. But it's just, for me, like, I'm not, you know, like this is another year where it's like we're getting another Halo, you know, we're getting another Forza, and that's fine. I'm more interested in what Microsoft's going to be doing after this year. You know, 2022. We know Starfield. You know, I'll have to check that out when we finally see it. I just want to see like what their future games that are going to be different. Like, what are they going to offer? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. You're saying Halo is greater than 90% of Sony games? Oh, I mean, that's your opinion, man. I know that there are people who actually feel that way, and that's fine. Like, luckily, Halo exists, and you'll be playing a new one at the end of this year, you know? But for me, that's just not my cup of tea. It's really not. Sea of Thieves is a 90 on Steam, and Horizon Zero Dawn is an 81. I mean, I guess that, I don't know if that's true or not, but like, you know, who cares? Like, who cares? Like, that's not going to make me think, well, I guess Sea of Thieves must be better than Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, I don't think that at all. Like, no. Does that mean Sea of Thieves is a bad game? No, certainly not. I mean, I would assume that by this point, Sea of Thieves is a very fleshed out game. I played it at launch, and it was very, very bare bones. It was okay. Like, I like the concept, but it was very, very bare bones. But yeah, no, I'm, you know, yeah, I heard that a Horizon's PC port was not good. Maybe that's one of the reasons why Sony was like, we need to buy Nixxes, you know, PC support studio. So, all right. I think that's going to do it for this stream, guys. I feel I might have to try to timestamp this, or maybe I can re-upload just my reaction potentially to the to the actual state of play because I realize the stream is over 2 hours and most people are not going to want to watch that if they just want to see my reaction. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do a separate review of it, shorter form content. We'll see. But that's going to do it for this stream, guys, and this reaction. I really do hope you did enjoy it. I appreciate you guys so much for taking time to hang out with me, watching my reaction, enjoying this with me, and having some conversation. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you to all my members. Thank you to everybody who leaves this stream a like. And anybody who just, spends time here. Really appreciate it. So one last time, guys, before you head out, before you leave this stream, please hit that like button. We did hit over 1,000 likes, which is awesome. So thank you so much for that. Just leave a like on your way out. And yeah, feel free to leave a comment on the stream once it's up, once we're done. Okay, so all right, guys, that's going to do it. I will catch you all tomorrow, probably. Yeah, probably tomorrow. I'll probably do something tomorrow. So, all right, guys, I'll see you later.